Hello, parents. I'm Miss Narvaez. I'm the school counselor here at Bliss Elementary, and I'm just sharing this important presentation on the transition from elementary school to middle school. I used to teach middle school for 13 years. I taught science to seventh and eighth graders, so I know what a middle schooler goes through. I know how hard it is, that transition between to sixth to seventh grade. It becomes very difficult for them, knowing that once, a teacher was there with them the whole day, reminding them, hey, you need to do this, turn this in, turn this, not turn this in, don't do this. And when they get to middle school, it's different. Teachers, they have 7 to 8 different teachers, 7 to 8 different personalities, um, different rules in each classroom. And that's the hardest part to get used to. One teacher may allow something, another teacher may not. So it's just getting used to all those things. But right now I'm going to share my screen so we can see this PowerPoint that I have for you. And there we go. And let me begin this PowerPoint presentation. And thank you for joining me. And hopefully you and your child can see this so you can have a discussion about what those expectations are for you for middle school, even expectations at home. So here we are. Again, I'm Ms. Narvaez, the school counselor for Bliss Elementary. And this is transition from elementary to middle school. So now there we go. So to begin with, our students, we're all in this together. We want them to know that your child will have a team. Of course, this team is composed of the student, a counselor, teachers, administrators, case managers in case they're seeing a social worker or someone at school, or maybe outside care, outside services may come in, and of course, parents. It's so important that we are all in this together. I've had many times, I remember I had parents all of a sudden say, you know what, they're in middle school, they can handle it on their own. No, they can't. They cannot handle it on their own. They still need the parents to come in and guide them. Still, we need that guidance from parents, from teachers, from everybody. Okay. So middle school, yay, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. It's very different. I tell students, right now you're in a fifth grade class of maybe 47 students. When you get to sixth grade, there's going to be a class of maybe a lot more. I remember my first year teaching, I had 190 students in total. So classes were packed, 32 students a classroom. And so they're going to see that, that population grows. So I think, maybe between 400, 500 sixth graders, it's a lot more students. So from elementary to middle school, what is the difference? Well, this is what it's arrival time is here in El Paso for the El Paso district. Arrival time is 7:40 a.m. First period begins at 7:50. So the 7:50 tardy bell will ring. They will be tardy past 7:50, and they take their tardies very seriously. 3 tardies equals 1 unexcused absence. So if we're having trouble getting up in the morning, we need to come up with a better plan to wake up and get there. Dismissal here for EPISD is at 3 p.m. Now, a lot of students will be riding buses. Buses will come and pick up and take students, and that's great because usually the buses get there. I'm going to say about 7:20, 7:25, they'll get to the school. So students have a chance to go to the cafeteria and grab their breakfast. I know some middle schools still have that free breakfast and free lunch program. So hopefully, I think Navarrete is one of them. I'm not sure about the other middle schools. Students, you do not light up for class. They go straight to class. They go straight to first period. Now there's going to be a transition time between classes, and that is 3 minutes long. They have 3 minutes to get from one class to the next. I remember I would tell my students in middle school, hey, you need to go to the restroom. Tell me where you're going. That way you have the time to go, because once I close that door, you will be counted tardy. So I tell my students now, I tell them, hey, if you need to go to the restroom and 3 minutes is not going to be enough, get to your next class, let the teacher know where you're going to be at, leave your stuff and run to the restroom. And of course, that's how it is. Unfortunately, we have a lot of students that will be tardy, get tardy. There's tardy sweeps where they'll have after school detention because, we cannot have all those tardies happening. It's very disruptive for a kid to come in 5 minutes later. And so we need to make sure that the learning starts the minute they get in. We have 45 to 50 minutes with them, and then another class comes in. Dismissal is the bell and students walk outside. Nobody's going to tell you, hey, get yourself ready. No, the teacher's going to say when it's time to be dismissed. I would tell my students the bell doesn't dismiss you. I do. Okay, so that is important for them to understand that if they need to ride the bus after school, they need to hurry up and get to that bus section. Also, parents, there's, I don't know, it depends on the school. There's a drop-off pickup area and they'll just go look for your car. Or so a lot of students will walk home depending on how close they are to the school they will be attending. So it's very different from elementary, the pickup and drop off. Okay. And again, each school, middle school will explain that situation to you. So what stays the same? Well, from elementary to middle school, we have attendance. We expect our students to be on time. We expect our students to, if absent, parents, make sure you call them in. Parents, important, make sure you memorize their ID number. I know every time I call my son in, not every time, but I don't call him a lot, no, I'm kidding. But every time I have to call him in, I go ahead and I have his number memorized because they will ask me, what is his ID number? So either have it in a place where you can easily find it, because it's important. They have so many students. They want to make sure they count that student, that he has an excused absence. I'm sorry. Grading scale is the same. 0 to 60 is an F, 0 to 70, 69 is an F, 70 to 74 is a D, I believe, and then it goes up. So we still have the same grading scale. Power Parent, parents, Power Parent. If you haven't been using it, start using it. That's how I check on my student. The students will also be able to check, they call it Power Student, but they can still check their grades online. And my son, let's just say that middle school was a big transition for him. And it is for a lot of students because it's hard having 7 classes and doing all that work. And sometimes they forget to submit. They'll be using their computer a lot. That's one thing. For sure, their computer is going to be utilized in every class. They're going to have Schoology. They're going to have Plaza. They're going to have their books in their computer. And a lot of times my son forgets to submit the work. And then it's late. Then he has not NHI, which means not handed in. And I have to have those conversations with him. So please, parents, check in weekly. I sometimes check in daily if anything has changed because I want to make sure my son is successful. And I bet you do as well. Just check, use that Power Parent. It's your best guide. Also, Power Parent, if you haven't used it yet, you can put in when it can notify you. Like for my son, I expect A's and B's. So anything less than a 79, I get a notification. Hey, and then I can have that conversation with him. Hey, I got this notification. Your grades are low. What's going on? Show me what you need to turn in. So that's one thing, parents, that we need to make sure that we are still on our children. They need us the most in these middle school years because that way they now have a bit more guidance and be ready for high school, which is another major change. Again, Schoology, it's something where a lot of teachers will use in middle school. They have all their classes in there and a lot of teachers are using it. That's how they post their assignments, and that's where they submit their assignments. So again, I make sure I would check on that as well. And that way my son can't say, oh, I lost the paper. No, you didn't. It's on Schoology. Go find it. There's still a summer school program. If students don't do well, summer school will be assigned, or, a discussion will be made with parents to see what is best suitable for your student, for your child. Lunchtime, yay! Well, lunchtime is going to look a lot different for your child. Seating is different. Here we still have the long tables in this picture, but in our middle schools, most of the El Paso District middle schools, they have round tables, they have booths, they have all these different sitting, first come, first serve, and they have 3 choices of lunch, which is so amazing. Sometimes my son loves that, he has so many choices now. They sell snacks also during lunchtime, so make sure you take your dollar and buy, whatever you want to buy. Lunch is 30 minutes, and that means there's no recess time and there's no lunch time. Lunch is 30 minutes. You have 30 minutes to eat. I remember I would have a lot of students eat fast and go play outside because they knew they would rather go play basketball or football or hang out with friends. And the cool thing in the cafeteria, they're not going to kick them out, hey, hurry up and eat, let's go. No, they have that 30 minutes to stay in there and they can stay there and read books, hang out with friends, or they can go outside to the blacktop, play basketball, watch other friends, or just take a breath of fresh air. So that's a cool thing about lunchtime. And it's only going to be sixth graders. And then there's a lunchtime for seventh graders, and there's a lunchtime for eighth graders. They're not really combined with each other. So middle school courses, very important. Each student will have 8 classes. Yes, and they'll have about 7 to 8 different teachers with different expectations. And again, that's what I was talking about. And that's why I remind my students, right now you have such very caring teachers that want to make sure you get the work done. But again, when you have 190 students or more, we don't really have that time to specify, hey, you owe me this work, you owe me that. That's when they're responsible for their own grades. And again, there's student portal where students can go in and check their grades. So that's something that we want to make sure we are taking the time for them to do. English language arts class is 2 periods long. That is something that was, I think it's a House bill. I'm not sure, but they need a certain time of reading and minutes, and it takes 2 periods. That's what we have 8 classes. So we have 2 periods of reading, English language arts, 1 math, 1 science, 1 social studies, 1 PE, and then your 2 electives. Now, let me just stay with this. So your 2 electives, you get 2 electives, and it depends on what the middle school is offering. I know Navarrete is offering karate. That is so exciting. I know in Hartley, they're offering Raise the Bar, which is this whole PE, physical education class, different from PE. It's really cool. And then, of course, there's speech, there's orchestra, band, but students get to have those 2 electives. Now, if they do not pass the STAR test, say they fail math, then they only have 1 elective because another elective is going to be another math course. The same with English, reading, language arts. If they fail that part of the STAR test, they're going to have to lose another elective and take that course. So that's why we stress students, please make sure you take the STAR test seriously. Please make sure you pass because we don't want you to miss out on these 2 electives. My son, last year he had 2 electives in in 6th grade. Now in 7th grade, he only has 1 because he did not pass the STAR test for math. So we need to make sure that, that's the way it is. So let's just make sure that we are taking the STAR test seriously because you want to have those 2 electives. Like I tell students, it's not a class like, oh, whatever, it's graded, you still get grades and you need to make sure you pass them. So but it's a good break during all those other must courses. If your child is DRD, has dyslexia, one of those electives will be the dyslexia class. Also, if they are in special education classes, they are no pull-out classes. That means that they're going to stay in their math and English class, but there's going to be a teacher walking in and working with them. PE is required for all students, and I tell students, this is when you're going to suit out. You're going to have to suit out in front of other kids. You cannot go into the restroom and change. Those are rules that they have. They want everybody suiting out. But I told them, hey, if you don't want to show your body to other people, which is totally fine. I told girls, well, wear shorts underneath your uniform, wear a tank top, and that way when you dress, you don't feel like you are undressing in front of everybody. And the same for the boys. I told them, hey, if you want, wear shorts underneath, wear a white shirt underneath. So that way when you dress, you're going to wear your PE uniform. And each middle school has certain guidelines as to what they can wear for PE. So make sure you read into that. Students must be in attendance a minimum of 90% of the days after enrollment in the course. And of course, after school tutorials are offered. Tutoring usually is from 3 to 3:30. Some middle school offer buses that will take the kids home. It depends on how many kids are enrolled for that after school tutoring program. If not, parents will be picking up your children at 3:30. Please, again, this is important. Parents are encouraged to email teachers. Check the grades, very important. And I'm one of those parents. I'm always emailing teachers asking, hey, I know my son told me he turned this in. Did he turn it in? It's just, like I said, middle school changes a lot in a child. Next, I'm sorry. How can we be successful in middle school? Well, let's make sure that we have established a homework routine with your student. I know. Let me tell you. Middle school, we give students enough time to finish the work in class. The time is given, but of course, we have students that want to talk. We have students that don't want to do it. They say, "Oh, I'll finish it at home," but then when they get home, they don't finish it. So let me assure you that time is given to finish all work in class, because if we give homework, it usually doesn't come back. Some teachers still give homework, and those are the expectations for that class. So just make sure that you have a homework routine. I know when my son gets in my car after I pick him up from my parents' home, because they pick him up for me, I ask him, "Hey, how was your day? What's for homework? Did you finish everything?" And of course, all his answers are, "Yes, I did it." And of course, it didn't get done. That's why it's important that you check parent portal, because that way we can still have a chance to turn in missing assignments. Usually in middle school, teachers give a total of maybe 5 days. If you don't turn it in, it becomes a zero. Some teachers don't. You don't turn it in, you didn't turn it in, you have a zero. So unfortunately, like I said, teacher to teacher, different ideas, different personalities, and they're following what they need to. Some teachers are just going to be kinder, as in to give more time. Practice good organizational skills. That's something very hard to have a child do, but some schools issue planners. If they don't, you buy a planner. When I was a middle school teacher, my students had a planner and I had an agenda, and every day they would come in and, "Hey, write in your planner what it says in the agenda." I would tell them when there was a quiz coming up, a test coming up, that way they could prepare what assignments were due. So it's important. If you can buy your child a planner, go for it. It'd be great. Or you can use a planner, a digital, so they can use it in their computer. That'd be great. Just so they can start those organizational skills that are very, very important. Follow up and check for consistency. I know it's hard because sometimes I get home tired and I don't want to, but I ask them, "Hey, every day, same questions." And sometimes the answer is still, "Mom, it was just a school day, nothing special." Well, just have those conversations, because I know sometimes kids will start shutting down on us and not wanting to talk to us, but we need to be consistent with them. We need to make sure that they're understanding that we do care and we want them to be successful. And yes, it takes a lot. But it can be done, and we want our children to be successful. Also, consider a family wall calendar as an added effort to keep up with tasks, and also after school activities. I know when they get to middle school, we have all those soccer practice, football practice, violin, basketball, just a club, book club, have everything up. That way nothing goes forgotten. We know what we need to do. Communication is so important in middle school. It's essential. Make sure that you read campus newsletters, or now middle schools. My son's middle school, they're on social media. So on Facebook, I have them, and I get a lot of information from them that I don't get from my son. So it's important that somewhere, you check those emails that they send out, you check those newsletters for important information or reminders that they have for you. Email those teachers that you need to have constant communication with, so your child can be successful in the class. And make sure that sometimes teachers will email you. I love it. I have a math teacher. My son is in a pre-AP class. That's a pre-advanced placement class. And at 2 other Fridays and Thursdays, he emails us, "Hey, parents, tomorrow is the deadline for them to turn in their work. Please make sure they turn it in." I love that. So it's just that constant communication with parents, with teachers, with anybody. Let's see. Being successful in middle school. So again, we have power parent. Check again. I know I keep stressing this power parent because that's the only thing I have that will tell me how my son is doing in school. So check those student grades regularly. Parents are able to personalize settings to receive alerts regarding missing or low grades. And that's what I was mentioning it. Go to that settings section and change those settings how your child is. If you, like, for example, I know my son in reading is not going to get a B, so I put it at a 75 because there's expectations that I have for him. So I want to make sure that he's meeting them. Report cards and progress reports are uploaded into Power Parent. So make sure we also look at those grades in those report cards. My son doesn't come home with a paper report card sometimes because it's on Power Parent. On tutoring, again, check with teachers to determine tutoring schedules. And again, most teachers now just do them after school because before school would be too early, and especially if a student rides the bus in the morning. But after school, like I said, some schools offer after school tutoring buses. It depends on the school. Okay. And they don't have to be failing to attend tutoring. Maybe a student just has questions. Let them go to tutoring, please. It's so important to go to tutoring. Let me see. And I think that's it. Yes, that was it for her middle school transition. But now what I'm going to talk about is when they get to high school, and this is just something to be thinking about when they're in middle school. We have House Bill 5, which is each high school is going to have a special program offered. Okay. So even in middle school, let's start thinking about high school. So there's different programs that they can attend that are available for EPIC, and we call them magnet schools. All high schools offer advanced coursework and career tech opportunities. So visiting the program websites, attend their informational presentations, and ask questions. Make an informed decision on which program best suits the path to help you achieve your life's goals. For example, we have a health magnet school, which is at Silva, which is next to Jefferson High School. And so those are the kind of things that you may start thinking for middle school. Start thinking what kind of electives you want your child to take. So H5, House Bill 5 is talking about endorsements that a student can take as part of their graduation requirements. Endorsements are a group of related courses that are focused on a particular interest or skill set. They help students develop a deeper understanding of the subjects they're interested in. So these endorsements, depending on what your child is interested in. Are they interested in technology? Are they interested in engineering? Are they interested in, drama and being a teacher? So that's when in 8th grade, they're going to be making those decisions for high school. And I know your child is just going into 6th grade, but again, these are just important things to think about because then maybe the electives they offer, you may be interested. I know at my son's school, he goes to Brown Middle School. They offer a lot of technology courses. So he's already taken STEM. He's already taken like a robotics course because that's where he is aiming to go to. So that's why I'm pushing those kind of electives. So these are the 5 endorsements that House Bill 5 is giving. We have science, technology, engineering, and math. We have business and industry, public service, arts and humanities, and multidisciplinary studies. So these are the 5 endorsements your child can use as their graduation requirement here in Texas. Career clusters are organized into related groups with similar themes based on industry groups. So they give you a framework to compare different industries and career paths based on your interests and strengths. So this helps you find out what is the perfect role that you're going to be taking as a student. So career clusters are, for example, say they're interested in STEM, that's the science, technology, engineering, and math. That would be like agriculture, arts, technology, communication, finance, marketing, sales, and service. The business industry is food and natural resources, hospitality and tourism, information technology, architecture and construction, business management and administration, transportation and distribution logistics. Then we have public service, which is human services, law, public safety, corrections and security, health, science, educational training, and government and public administration. Then we have the arts and humanities, which is like the dance, the fine arts, the band, orchestra, and multidisciplinary studies. That just could mean, for example, having the teaching with philosophy, with just those kind of I'll get to that in a minute. So for example, program of studies are like your personal guides to help you prepare for your dream career. These courses are designed to give you hands-on experience in the real world, leading to an industry-based certification or post-secondary credential. Just so you know, programs of study don't replace endorsements, they actually help you complete them. So, this is just to make sure that we are completing those endorsements because that's part of the graduation. Um, um, Part of your graduation, I forgot what I was going to say, but you just need to finish. So meeting endorsements with a program or study. So here is some CT courses related to STEM, so math, science, computer science. For the multidisciplinary studies, that's advanced courses from other endorsement areas. So for example, you wanted chemistry and physics, but also you want to put in an English component. English, math, science, social studies, economics, fine arts, those all fit into multidisciplinary because here are different disciplines and maybe you're interested in a few more because you still don't know what you want to study when you get to college. Okay, so that was just a quick introduction to HB5. And parents, if you have any questions that you need to ask in regards to middle school transition, please contact me. I'm here to help you and I'm here to help your child. Have a great day. Thank you. Bye. I don't know how to stop this video, but eventually I will. Have a great day. Bye. I still don't know how to stop the video, but I will find it. I'm sorry. You can stop. Okay, stop sharing. I did that. And